American football in Finland.
The voice in your ears and the face on your screen. I'm Perfect Purvis, and this is American Football in Finland. Today, I'm joined by my co-hosts, Coach Q and Chris Green. What's going on, fellas?
Back to life, back to reality. Back, baby.
We got a different layout going on here as well.
I tried to change it up a little bit, give us something to focus on. So the AFF podcast is available everywhere you listen to your podcast. You can see us visually here on YouTube, wherever you listen or watch. Be sure to subscribe, follow, and like us. Anyone who listens or watches but doesn't hit that like button, we know you're a hater, but that's cool. We're going to do this show anyways.
Are you a fan of the American Football in Finland podcast? Show your support in style. Rock our logo proudly on hoodies, t-shirts, beanies, and snapbacks, all designed for fans like you. Join us in celebrating American football in Finland. Grab your gear and be a part of the AFF community.
All right, let's get into it. Weekend matchups. The Maple League is back on Thursday with the Porvoo Butchers versus Helsinki Wolverines. And then Helsinki Roosters take on the Kuopio Steelers on Friday. And Saturday, we finish up with the Wausau Royals and Lohja Crusaders. So let's spend a little bit of time talking about each one of these matchups. First game up, Porvoo Butchers take on Helsinki Wolverines. Coach Q, what do you got for a storyline or question in this one?
I don't really even know if it's a headline, a storyline. I just think Porvoo is going to score 60 points again. I expect Mickey J to get the ball a lot. Offensively, Lucas Ehrlich still. We're at that point in the season, I think I said it before, where the Butchers either bounce back and show everybody that they're still that team, or they continue to be inconsistent. So I need to see some more consistency in them. Like I said, I think the last game was kind of sloppy, maybe due to the weather. But I expect them to come back and put up some numbers on the Wolverines, man. It sucks that we have to watch these types of games. But they, who knows how the game will go initially. But I think the Butchers are still strong defensively. Nico Royko came back, so their defense just got a lot better. Secondary just got a lot better. So if I'm anybody, I wouldn't want to play the Butchers right now. And I'm just being honest. I think that defense can match up against anybody's offense right now, and that's a problem. So, Wolverines, maybe they'll come out and show some real heart and some effort, but I think Porvoo wins this hands down.
What about you, Chris? What's a question or storyline in this one?
My question is, can they keep the win streak going? They've got 4 straight wins in the past 4 weeks. So since week 5, they haven't lost a game. So this would be the 5th win in a row if they can get this one. And then looking forward, they then got a bye week. And then they go in to play the Royals, which could be another win for them. And then they've got, at the business end of the season, they've got the Roosters and the Crocodiles to finish. So they're on a roll right now. Arguably, they're the hottest team in the league, you could argue, because they got 4 wins in a row. Okay, don't care who they're playing against. They've got 4 wins in a row. That's difficult to do. So can they make it 5 in a row? That's my question to them, and I think they will. They've got the Wolverines this week, so that should be a W for them. And like you said, they've got Nico Royko back, which is it's great for them. So it strengthens that defense. Timmy Nuka probably playing the best ball he's played of his life this season. Yeah. He's doing everything right. The receivers are starting to come into their own. Mickey J's found his role. They're playing well right now, and they're a team to watch. And look, I don't think I'd like to play this team either. They're a dangerous team. You don't know what you're going to get from them. They're a surprise package, that's for sure.
Yeah, I agree with both of y'all. All I'm going to say is, can I get 70? I've seen a lot of 60-something point scores. Let me get 70 this week. That's my question to the Butchers. Can you score 70? I want to see 70. I am loving the 50 burgers with cheese. Let's add some bacon, some lettuce. What else can we add on there? Honey mustard. That's the sauce I would go with. Let's put some honey mustard on there. You know what? Since we're in Finland, let's add a fried egg. They make burgers with fried eggs over here a lot of times. So let's fry egg. Are you smacking your teeth at me, Q?
No,
Fried egg? Oh, okay. I'm just saying, fried egg, it hit different. So let's put a
yeah,
fried egg. Let's put a fried egg on that this time, Butchers, if we can. What about key matchups in this one? Q, you got any matchups that you think are gonna stand out in this game?
No, 0 again. Every time I feel bad, bro. I'll be feeling bad when it's time to do this part because, like, these key matchups that I can really just think of, maybe Will Young against the Butchers, linebackers, one-on-ones with linebackers. Right now, I think the Butchers have, right now, if we voted, I think the Butchers have the defensive player of the year on their team right now. And I think Will Young is about to go against him a lot in this game. He reads the run, he reads the pass, he blitzes, he does everything. So I think, Will Young against the Portland Butchers linebackers would be a good matchup. Will has been hurting everybody. If you give him an inch, he'll take more than that. So I think the Butchers need to be real careful on how they approach this game. Yes, it's the Wolverines, but they still have people like him that can hurt them. So if any matchup I can just call out, I'll say that one.
What about you, Chris? Any matchup you prefer in this one?
I think for me, there's a couple.
Okay.
One of them is the defensive backs against Kevin Adams. I mean, this guy is the leading receiver in receptions and yards so far this season, and no team has been able to stop him or slow him down. He's putting up like almost 100 yards a game. So can they stop him? The second little matchup I've got is the Butchers offensive line versus the Wolverines defensive line. The reason why I say this is because if the Wolverines want any chance of winning this game, they have to get push up front and they have to get off the offensive line blocks. They've got to get in the backfield. They've got to get to Gwinner. They've got to stop Mickey J. If they can do that, they're going to put themselves in a position to be able to compete for the game. If they can't do that, if they get stopped and they get stonewalled by this Butchers offensive line, they've got no chance to be competitive in this game. So that's my two.
Yeah, for me, I would say a matchup that I'm looking forward to from these two teams is not to be too. I don't know how to want to say this. I want to see how the Wolverines react to Zach Wright when he gets the ball. Does that make sense? Like either as a returner or interception, he gets touchdowns. That man don't play around. When he touches the ball, he plans to score. And I'm pretty sure they're going to have to punt to him at some point. I think he might get a punt return touchdown in this game. But he's probably going to get an interception as well because Rasmus throws 2 interceptions a game now, I think, on average, something like that. So he'll get he'll get an interception return. So that might be a 6. I'm interested to see if whoever is on the Wolverines can slow him down on those returns because I haven't seen anybody do it. Only time I've seen like him not really get a good return after a pick or on a kick return or something was I think the last time he had an interception, he like jumped up and caught it and failed. So then he didn't get any yards. But normally every time he gets an interception, he gets yards. Interesting aspect about this game would be
the win streak.
I guess the win streak is interesting. Someone has to have it. Are they the only team with a win streak right now? Anyone else have a win streak? What about
the Roosters? Might be on a win streak.
What about the Crocs? The Crocs?
The Crocs aren't because they lost to the Roosters in week 7.
Okay.
So the Roosters are on 1, 2. They're only on a 2-win streak. The Roosters.
So yeah, this is only real like streak. So that's the interesting aspect. All right, let's get to that next one. Oh, the next one is the real game. Okay. Helsinki Roosters versus Kuopio Steelers. Q, what is your question or storyline for this one?
The biggest one is Josh Taylor going to have a replacement, or are they going to keep him? Like, what's the plan? I think right now the Steelers are probably talking about what they're going to do. You know, what are we going to do? We're going to keep Josh, let him get healthy or whatever his injury is, or try to figure out what's going on with his injury. And but then you have to prepare the rest of the team to get ready to play the Roosters. And that's a big, that's going to be a big test in itself. So whether or not, the Steelers make a decision as far as bringing somebody else in right now, until Josh gets healthy or whatever it is. I mean, it's you never want to be in this situation, but you still got to play the Roosters, who is a team that is not going to take it easy or lightly because your quarterback's not in the game. They're going to come out and they're going to try to beat you and beat you bad, and that's just what it is now at this point in the season. So I think it's very important to know, what Scorpio decides to do going forward and just how serious this injury with Josh is. But this is another, big game, I guess you say, for the top teams or whatever. So, and just to see the Roosters and how they approach it as far as what they're going to do different than the first time they played them. This will be, I think this is the second game, I believe, of the top teams playing each other again twice. I think this is the second time. Yeah. So these games count, you know what I'm saying? And it's definitely something that I think the Roosters are looking forward to, playing them again. So we'll see what happens, though. But, yeah, I think, if anything, it's mainly on the health of Josh and the future of the Steelers as much.
What about you, Chris? What's a storyline or question you're going to be watching with this one?
I was thinking on the same lines as Q, but I'm going to go in a different direction because he said that one. So I'm going to say, my question is, who's going to be the 1 seed after this game? Because whoever wins this game is the number 1 seed. They'll be on 7 wins. They'll be on 7 wins.
Yeah.
Team will be on 6.
Yeah.
So whoever wins this game will take control of that 1 seed. So it's a real.
I pick somebody to end up in first. At the beginning of the season, I think I picked somebody to end up in first place, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that on another episode.
It's only week. It's like week 10. Like, it's week 10. We don't even know. We have no idea. For me in this one, I would say a storyline or question that I want to talk about with these two teams is. Oh shit! I forgot what the question was actually. I'm drawing a blank. I had it until Q caught me off guard talking about who's gonna win.
If Josh ain't gonna play quarterback, is Nessie gonna play quarterback? Thinking about
that'd be
Who is gonna play quarterback is obviously
it has to be. If they plan on keeping him, it's got to be Nessie.
You think so?
Got to.
Well, it makes sense. I would love to see Nessie out there playing at quarterback.
Like we said off air, Purvis, if it's a short-term injury, why would you risk him right now? You've already made the playoffs. Why would you risk him right now? It's Nessie's offense. He knows how to run it. It makes sense. And if it's a short-term injury and he misses 1 game, they've got a bye week coming up as well. So this is the game right here. I mean, if they really want that seed, they need to win this game.
Nessie can throw slants. He can throw fades. I mean, he could get them through some games. Like, so, you know what I mean? Like, he could give them a chance. Like, not saying you go out there and do what Josh did, but it's not a bad option to do if you're just trying to maintain until your quarterback comes back. You just got to be okay with ending up in 4th place. You know what I'm saying? You got to be okay with ending up in the 4th seed. Like, it's okay if you do end up in the 4th seed. You're still in the playoffs. Yeah, you want to play at home, but that might not happen. But you got to take your chances. So,
but if they win this game, though, they're not going to be in the 4th seed. They're going to.
No, I'm saying if they lose. I'm saying the worst case scenario. You lose the rest of the games, and you end up in 4th. Like,
let's be fair. They're not going to lose the rest of their games. I was looking at the schedule. So they've got the Roosters this week. Then they've got the Royals. Then they've got a bye. And then they've got the Wolverines and the Crusaders to finish. So,
yeah, the team that just lost to the Crocodiles could probably beat the Crusaders and Wolverines. Yeah. So,
yeah,
I think for me, an interesting storyline. This question.
You left all the teams though, didn't you?
No,
you You said with the team they just played, they probably can beat the Wolverines and the Crusaders. But you didn't say
For sure. So
Royals.
I didn't say the Royals. I didn't say they could beat the Royals with the team that they just lost in the second half against Crocodiles.
Yeah.
I gave the Royals that
But
kind of respect.
Do you think that team can beat the Royals? Without Josh Taylor, do you think they can beat the Royals?
If Nessie plays quarterback, yes.
Yeah, again, I'm saying the team that we saw at that game where they weren't ready for him to be out, that team could easily beat those other two. So that's 2 more wins. And that gives you 8. That gives you 8 wins.
Yeah, so they're not going to end up in 4 anyway. Yeah, they're not going to end up in 4.
Yeah, they'll end up in second. I mean, if they lose this game and the next one, then they come in second or third. Like they won't be in 4th. That's for sure. But I do think an interesting aspect of this game is going to be how well the defense can play. Or I want to say, will the defense be able to hold up for all 4 quarters? Because you're going to be in a game, even if you do have someone come in at quarterback, you're not going to have the same Josh Taylor effect. You might have to be what they had to do last week where they're on defense more. They're on the field longer. Players have to play more. And, I mean, I think we've been saying it all year. Them corners ain't going to help you at all. So I'm going to go into my matchup, key matchup. Again, I'm throwing out the Josh Taylor thing. We'll be closer to the week as the game progresses. We'll know more about that. But for me, the key matchup in this game is it's going to be the Roosters receiving core versus that secondary from the Steelers, because they don't have an answer for Bryce Nunnally. That's not they don't. And now Johannes Johainen is back. That's double trouble. And then your 2 young guys. What is it? Pitkanen?
Is it Virtanen?
Yeah, Rautiainen and Pitkanen, 14 and 86. I know their numbers. Those 2 guys are really good receivers. So I think those 2 guys, I think your 3 or 4 receivers from the Roosters, you might be able to get good coverage from Lars Steffen, Siri Ironen at safety spot, even the young Choate. You're going to get decent coverage. Those are good defenders. But at some point, them corners are going to have to see Johannes or Bryce Nunnally on a deep route or on a one-on-one. At some point, they're going to have to see both of those guys, and I don't think either one of them can hold up. So that's going to be the key to this game is, can you slow down the Roosters' offense enough so that whatever your offense is doing for the Steelers, you have a chance? Because think about it. Now we're going to be looking at a Steelers team that maybe we don't want them to pass the ball as much as normal. So that means you can't be giving up a lot of points either, because they get in a situation where they have to pass, but they can't pass effectively. No matter who's at quarterback, that's not giving your team a chance to win. So it's going to be on the defense to keep the Roosters in check. I think that's going to be hard to do on that defensive backfield. What about you, Q? What is a matchup that you're looking at in this one between the Roosters and Steelers?
I think the Steelers D-line against the Roosters offensive line will be very important in this game, because, the first time we seen them play, they had a pretty good – they had success. The Steelers line had success against them. So it'll be nice to see what Ambrose does as far as the quick game. I don't think the Roosters are going to change much from what they do on offense. I think they're going to continue to do what they've been doing. Like you said, they're going to find those matchups that they want. Bryce Nunnally, right now, I need to know who the leader is in the Steelers secondary. I need somebody that can make a play during the game to affect the way the game turns out, because you're going to have plays made like that against the Roosters offense. They've been steady all year. Even defensively, the Roosters, statistic-wise, they've been at the top. I know we haven't really talked about it a lot because of other people's, what they've been doing their teams. But the Roosters is probably one of the most steady teams right now. So you got to come in and play them without your quarterback, knowing the future of your quarterback. And it's just one of the worst teams to play when you got to go through something like that. So But I think how the Steelers D-line comes into this game and tries to set a tone, they have to set a tone. They have to get Ambrose excited. They have to get him anxious to move out of the pocket. If he's sitting back and he's reading his reads and just letting the ball go quick, it's going to be a long day for that Steelers secondary. So I think it'll be an interesting matchup to watch, though.
What about you, Chris? What are you looking for in this one?
Well, annoyingly, Purvis, you took my number one choice.
I'm sorry.
You took my second choice of what I was going to talk about. So that's both of my things out. So I'm going to do a funny one. And I'm going to say my key matchup is Josh Taylor versus his injury. Is he going to be back? Is he going to be back healthy? Because we saw him get hurt. We don't really know the extent of his injury. We said earlier we might find out towards game day. We'll try and get some inside knowledge. But right now, we don't know. It's up in the air. It's a question mark. So that is a key matchup for me. Can they get him healthy? Because they need him. Yeah, I think if the only way that they can beat this team is if they play him or Nessie puts his kit back on again. Because they can't beat it with Noah Choate playing quarterback or Vassinen playing quarterback. They're not good enough. So, Nessie, if you're listening, you better strap him up if Josh ain't fit because they need you.
He rolling that shoulder up right now.
Yeah,
warm up that cannon.
I feel like whenever this is released, we should definitely start an online campaign and make sure people know we want Nessie. We want to see Nessie. Put Nessie out there.
That's your Miro. Miro probably will never go, but Nessie, you got to jump in there.
I would be hard pressed to see Miro play for the Steelers against the Roosters.
There's no way
that would be so crazy.
That would be like that would be something for sure.
That would be, I think, Judas reborn.
Yeah. I was like, wow.
Yeah. That'd be nasty work for sure. I think if we're gonna go interesting aspect, the most interesting aspect of this game obviously is the injury to Josh Taylor. But again, let's table that. The most interesting aspect of this game for me will be who everybody picks on the pick'em in this game, because I don't think we're gonna. What day do they play?
Saturday, I think.
No, they play Friday.
Friday?
They got the Friday game. I don't think people – I think we normally make our picks by like Wednesday, and I honestly think nobody wants to make their pick before Wednesday. Everybody's gonna have a hold on. Let me see what happens with the quarterback situation first.
I want to pick right now.
That's what I mean. We're picking now on a Monday. The other
guy
picking
right now.
Picking later in the week. It's not fair.
We're gonna pick on a Monday, and whatever we pick, we're gonna put in this week that we have the right to change before we release the picks. We're gonna put out the picks probably on Thursday. We'll put them out on Thursday. We'll do them as last minute as possible. But yeah, that's gonna be the most interesting thing I think about this game. Is like normally, even if you don't know who everybody's gonna pick, everybody kind of knows, but we don't really know who we're gonna pick for this game. So it's like up in the air for everybody. So I think that would be interesting.
I know
except Q's knows. We'll find that out soon enough.
I'm a
Q's been the biggest Steelers fan in the world.
I'm a betting man. I'm a betting man.
Speaking of Judas, right? The Rooster fan.
I'm a betting man. Hey, look. If you tell me I'm about to play, if I'm the Baltimore Ravens and I'm about to play the Kansas City Chiefs with no Pat Mahomes, if Pat Mahomes was on the sideline with his arm in his sling and I'm about to play them next week, who do you think I'm picking to win? The team that's got to play him, because I don't think he's coming back. I mean, just if I had to pick, that's just being real. Now, if he miraculously can play, if Nessie plays, I love Nessie, but I do not think they'll get past the Roosters without Josh Taylor.
I think they could beat him with Nessie.
So we got to wait on my pick. I love the Steelers. I love the Steelers and I love the Roosters. I don't think it's a good situation to be in right now. Not against the Roosters. I don't care who's back there right now. I don't think they're going to beat the Roosters.
All right,
not
we'll
right
find
now.
out. All right, we're gonna find out.
But I said the opposite last time. I said the opposite. I said the Roosters aren't going to beat the Steelers right now. I said that before the last time they played. Now it's switched.
It all depends on the timing for you, Q.
It's
If they
it. I'm saying, like,
Hey, week 4 and week 8, them two totally different things.
yeah,
Or
it
week
is.
4 and week 10
Situation.
or something like that.
Two different
Yeah,
situations.
situational. That's real football, though.
Yeah.
All right. All right, so the last game, I guess, is kind of interesting. The Wassa Royals versus the Warrior Crusaders. Chris, storyline question for this one?
Can the Royals make it 2 in a row? They've got an opportunity now to pick up another game and try and squeeze their way into the playoffs. This is a game, it's a must-win game for them. So they're playing a team that's rock bottom, not got a win all season. If they can do what they did last week against the Wolverines, they'll easily put the Crusaders to bed. Landers is playing his best ball this season so far. Alpha's getting going. He's got chemistry with Alpha. Swolsty's being Swolsty. The defense are doing a good job. They've got new defensive backs. So the Royals they're on the up right now. Okay? They're playing the Crusaders this week. Then they've got a tough one with the Steelers the week after. And it's a game to try some new stuff. I say this quite often. When you've got a team that you're supposed to beat and you should be able to beat no matter what you run or who calls the plays, you can try new things. You can try different stuff that you've not practiced in practice as much, or you've not practiced in a game, just to have a go at it and see if it works for you.
I do not think that's the case with the Royals. I don't think they're that much better than the Crusaders. I don't know what it was last time they played each other. It was 20-32. I don't think they're that much better than the Crusaders to just try stuff. I think of all teams in the league, the Royals are one team that needs to do what works and do it often. And that would be getting the ball to Alpha, so it's pretty easy.
Yeah. Yep. Easy.
Okay, new innovative ways of how to get the ball to Alpha. There we go.
I like that. The jet sweep was cool.
I've been calling for fly sweeps all year, man. I've been calling for alpha fly sweeps all year. We've been saying it all year, man. They tried those like receiver screens earlier because he scored off of one of those in Portville a long time ago. Basically, just I still would go back to the Wildcat with Alpha. I think that'd be pretty cool. I don't know what they got going in their playbook, but have him line up at quarterback, have Theo go to receiver, and just run that thing. I think that'd be pretty cool because if he can see the field.
Landers is a good runner.
No, I'm not saying Landers is bad. I'm just saying an extra opportunity to give Alpha the ball. Sooner. Yeah, just a way to get him sooner. And honestly, just throwing this randomness out there, I'm pretty sure he played quarterback for them when they were in like Division I for a little bit as a trial basis.
Yeah.
So he could throw it to Landers. I'm pretty sure Landers is athletic enough to catch a pass too. So again, this sounds like, oh man, you're doing too much. But again, I'm still saying keep the ball in the hands of your 3-star players. Yeah. But like you said, there might be other ways. I think to a certain degree, again, if they've been practicing this type of stuff, then yeah, I guess I'm coming around to your way of thinking. As long as I don't want them doing a play where some random number like 17 or something ends up with the ball. And I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't mean to actually talk about a real number. My bad. I just threw out a number. I didn't mean the real player.
He trash.
I was just saying a number. I wasn't trying to think of like the actual guy. I'm sorry. But like, I mean, I guess it is what it is. I don't want them doing something where they try to like have these players who haven't contributed yet contribute. Like, I think it's too late for that for the Royals. Like, if you ain't helped them do nothing by now, you ain't gonna. So you might as well learn how to block, because that's what you there for. You there to block. And the little running back that comes in for Swolsty sometimes, that man is just fortunate because Swolsty gets tired. I see that. He gets tired sometimes. They take him out. But if it was up to me, Swosty would never come out the game.
Never.
But everybody else just learns how to block. What about you, Q? What is a storyline or interesting thing in this one for you?
Kind of similar on the same line as Chris said. Can the Royals win to get another one? And I think they can. Given what they're about to go against. It's. I think we see a different Theo Landers. I mean, we see a different him. I don't say different, a better him every week. I think we see stuff that we don't usually see from him. But I just wish he would have shown this all year. And we've been asking them to open the offense up so we can see what he can do. But I think we've seen spurts of him and what Alpha can do. And I think they need to do that a little more often. I think now at the point, hey, what you got to lose besides the game? What do you have to lose? Like they should just be on holding the level right now as far as what they're doing offensively to win games. And it'll be interesting to see how they can still or even try to get more offense on a more consistent level. The rest of the games they have left, it'll be nice to see them put up some more points. But this specific game, let's see what Theo them come out and do because it's going to be important.
Yeah. For me, I think I'm going to go the other way because y'all keep talking about the Royals. Y'all know I don't really care about the Royals like that. I would like to ask the Crusaders, can you win a game? Here's an opportunity. This is a game that you can win. This is a game that you can upset this team. I think getting the ball to Moses Harris if he plays in this game, that's easy. Bryce Messina, you've been playing pretty good all year. Honestly, you had one bad game this year. Other than that, playing very well, doing what you can do. Oscar Suaniemi, one of the best receivers in the league. Easily my vote for, Rookie of the Year or whatever, if they do that. Because I don't think he's ever played in the Maple League before. But that offense can score on the Royals. They can score a lot on the Royals. It's possible. Can they stop Alpha? I don't know. I don't know if you can stop him. But I do know this. If you do well enough against that defense, they'll end up putting Alpha on defense. And like I've said before, if they end up putting him on defense, it shows in his offensive play. We've seen earlier in the season that he's dropped passes, he's fumbled the ball, like he's had a lot of offensive mistakes. And I always attribute it to fatigue. Like you don't realize it in the moment, but playing the whole game, it affects you. So little things like that happen, and that's happened to him earlier in the season. And we saw the last couple of weeks or last 2 weeks when he didn't have to play defense, that doesn't happen. He's lights out on offense. So if I'm the Crusaders, I'm trying to find a way to keep the game at such a high pace offensively that they feel that they have to use Alpha more. And that gives us a chance to, one, not see him as much on offense. I'd rather see him on defense than on offense. Because at least then I'm not afraid of him like playing against our defense, which isn't that good if I'm the Crusaders. But that's what I want. My question for them this game is, can you pull the upset? Can you win a game? I'd be interested to see that. What about key matchups in this one, Chris?
Key matchups, pretty simple. It is Theo Landers, Alpha Jallo, Tom Swosty versus the rest of the defense of the Crusaders. They can stop those guys, they win the game. They can't stop those guys, they lose the game. It's as simple as that.
I'm going with the exact same. I'm not even going to add anything to it. I think you summed it up perfectly. What about you, Q? What do you think for a key matchup?
Key matchups, offensive line of the Crusaders against the Royals D-line. Moses is going to have if he plays and he's going to have any success, he's going to start there. So if they want to have a chance of winning a game, their offensive line is going to have to play the best game they played this year probably. Bryce Messina is going to have to take a lot more of these plays into his own hands. Maybe not throw some of them, just run. You know what I mean? Like, I know you want to get certain people involved early, if you can, but Bryce needs to see some more out of him. I know he's probably just trying to make things happen and stuff happens, bad and good, but if you want to, get a win, I think this is their best chance to do it. Some kind of way, Jason find a way to have Alpha not scoring as much, or find a way to take him out of the offense. But then on the other hand, the offense for the Crusaders have to score. You got to finish drive. So we'll see. But I think an interesting one, and one that'll be important from the jump, is just the Crusaders' offensive line against the D line of the Royals.
Makes sense. All right. Interesting aspect of this game. I really don't know. The Royals going to be at home, so they're going to be wearing the blue jerseys. I guess that's kind of interesting. I don't know. I don't think anything interesting about this game. It's just a normal game. No, this is for the playoffs for the Royals, right? Right? Like they
have to win.
The Royals got to win. Yeah.
The Royals have to win. Okay, so must-win game. That's definitely interesting because that means, again, like what I was saying, I think that means Alpha might end up playing both ways.
Yeah,
and it's a blessing and a curse. But I think like if it actually is close, like what Q said, if Bryce Messina goes off in this game and makes it an interesting and close game, then you're going to see Alpha doing a lot, which could hurt or help them depending on how it goes. So that's interesting. Playoffs or bust. Win a must-win game for the Wausau Royals.
Yep.
All right, let's get into our weekend picks brought to you Ballers International. Are you an athlete looking for a community? You're an athlete who feels alone in the process of trying to get to the next level. Join Ballers Members, a tribe for athletes in Europe with an elite level mindset led by international legends Alpha Juice Jallo and Jock Crawford. Have a brother right in your backyard. If this is the community you're looking for, DM Ballers International on Instagram at BallersINT. All right, let's get into our picks for the week. Let me look at who's in first and all that stuff real quick. Okay, right now, our pick'em rankings are first place, Andy B, 24-3. Tied in first place with him is Coach Mike and Coach Q. No, I'm wrong. Sorry. Q, you're not tied. You went down a spot.
Yeah.
Coach Mike
picked the Crocodiles, didn't he?
Yeah.
That's twice he's done it. I'll pick the upset.
Him and Andy B, Coach Mike and Andy B are tied at 24-3. Q is in third at 23-4. That's why I got confused. The numbers are very close. And then tied in fourth place is Chris Green, Jamal Clay, and Finland Swami at 22-5. Ellie M is 19-8. And I'm in last at 17-10. And I just want to say, don't be coming at me about my picks. Sometimes I just be making picks, okay? It is what it is. Y'all will be coming at me about my picks. Like I be trying to do the back magic. Sometimes I pick a team so the other team wins.
Yeah, I used to do that last year.
Were you losing that last year as well, Q? Is that what happened?
Yeah, that's why I picked. Every time I picked against Scorpio the year before, they used to win. Like every single time I picked, they used to win. So
he's a changed man. Pick the Steelers.
The Roosters done hurt my heart a lot of times, but I still pick them anyway. I just got to. I don't know. It's just
it just worked like that sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I pick teams hoping the other team wins, and sometimes I just pick who needs to be picked. Sometimes you got
weird reasons. You pick for weird reasons sometimes. It's
not always like the logical pick. I know some people try to be very logical with it, but I like to go from a gut because again, it doesn't cost me anything to pick. So
I think Coach Mike's out here thinking he's a damn genius now. Picking
yeah.
The Wolverines to win against the Crusaders the other week, and then picking the damn Crocodiles to beat the Steelers last week.
I also think some of these other people, they're picking to win the pick'em and not necessarily who they think is going to win the game. Like you said, like you pick the upset because you need the upset so you get more points. I never pick like that. Like I might pick somebody for a weird reason, but I'll never pick to win.
Yeah, there's no reason to pick a 1-6 team against a 7-1 team. There's no reason to pick the 1-6 team. Like unless you just like you betting on the game, you like
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But like logically, it is safe picks. You got certain picks that are safe picks. Like nobody knew who was going to win this Crocs game. Nobody knew. Like, and they won by 3 points. So it's not like you just, I knew they were going to beat them. Like nobody knew. Like
nobody knew.
Yeah,
that was a guess, pure guess.
Yeah, that's pure guess, man.
The first couple of weeks, like the first 6 weeks, like that's when you really like find out who's the good
dominating
and stuff. Yeah. After that, it's pretty much you kind of know who's going to win. I mean, again, the upsets have been really good upsets.
Yeah.
Like nobody picked the Butchers upset. And 2 people picked the Crocs upset, but we both, again, it was, you're trying to get points. Nobody actually picked those upsets. But anyways, let's get into this week's picks. Q. I'll let you go first. First game. We'll do 2 games and then we'll do the important game at the end. So Butchers, Wolverines, who you got and why?
I'm going with the Butchers. Butchers' defense is getting stronger and stronger by the signing. So I just think against the team, it's going to be a no-brainer. Let them pick the Butchers because I just think that defense. I'm picking the Butchers like we were talking about while we make picks. I'm picking the Butchers simply because their defense I just think is too strong for this offense to do anything against them to really hurt them or give them a chance of losing. They just have too many guys in too many places that can make plays. And when you have that, you got guys like Zach Wright, like he's going to find a way to the ball. Like it's just certain teams just build rosters in his rosters that you don't want to see on the regular, and this is one of those rosters, I think. So, yeah, I'm going Butchers.
What about second game, Royals versus Crusaders? Who you got and why?
I'm always probably pick Alpha at this point against because he's Alpha. And I know we say he got the juice and all that stuff, man, but the Crusaders, from what we've seen, they do have some players that can make plays, but just not enough help, for those guys. Like your superstars are going to make plays throughout the game. Your teammates, you want them to make them off the wall plays. Like, hey, I got 8 tackles, but I need you to get a sack too. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying? I just don't think the Crusaders have a lot of those guys on the sideline, and it's just going to be a lot to deal with Swolstein. It's going to be a lot to deal with Alpha and Theo. So I'm going with them in that game.
All right, game of the week: Roosters, Steelers. Who you got and why? And do you?
I'm going Helsinki.
What?
I'm going Helsinki Roosters.
Oh, okay. I'm
going Helsinki Roosters. And if I don't have to explain it, but I'm going to explain it because we're on the podcast. Like I said earlier in the year when they played, I thought the Roosters weren't ready to beat them because of how the Steelers were playing at the time. Now, with Josh Taylor having an injury, and if I'm the coach of the Steelers, let's just say if I'm the coach of the Steelers, this is a week where I have to get my team prepared to play the Roosters, and I have to get them prepared to play with or without Josh Taylor. It doesn't matter what's the resolution. You're playing at an odds, basically. You're coming into this game as an odd because the guy that normally commands this offense won't be commanding it, and you're hoping that whoever plays can somewhat make up for the lack of stuff that that you're not going to get. You know what I mean? You got to hope that somebody on this roster can make up for those plays, and there is nobody on that roster that can go in that position that can make up or at least come close to making up for what Josh Taylor can do for that offense. So I'm going with the Roosters mainly because I think it's just a better pick. I think the Roosters have been playing good. They have been playing well throughout the season, and I think they're going to win this game.
With good reasons. All right, Chris, let me get your picks. First game, Butchers versus Wolverines. All right, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going with the Porvoo Butchers. They're on a good win streak at the moment. I feel like they're going to continue this. They really need to push for the playoffs now and make sure they maintain that 4th seed. They've got the better roster than the Wolverines. The Wolverines really only have 2 offensive weapons, and they don't really have a lot on defense. So, I mean, they've got Alvin Reels, who's doing a great job for them, but I just feel like the Butchers, as a whole, are just a better team right now, and I feel like they're going to get the win.
All right, Royals versus Crusaders.
Royals, Crusaders, I'm going with the Royals. Again, Alpha, you struggle to pick against him in games like this where they're playing against a weaker team who have not got a win all season. He could take the game away at any single point. I know I feel like I'm a broken record here because I keep saying it, but you get him the ball. If they get him the ball lots more and he doesn't play a lot of defense, he's going to hurt them big time. So, yeah, definitely going with the Royals here.
All right, game of the week, Roosters versus Steelers. Who you got and why?
Right. So, are we allowed to change these when we hear the information later?
If you want to, just say I'm allowed to change it. Yeah.
Okay. So, I reserve the right to change my pick here. I am going to pick the Helsinki Roosters. However, if Josh Taylor is fit or Nessie plays, I will pick the Steelers.
Mm.
The reason why I'm picking the Roosters, I believe that without a quarterback, they're going to struggle. I still believe they're going to have a great defense, but the offense of the Roosters has been proven this season. They've played well. Their defense is strong. They're getting better and better as the season goes on, and they're one of the top teams. The reason why I would pick the Steelers, if Nessie or Josh Taylor is back, I believe they're a better team when they have Josh Taylor. When he's able to hurt them through the air and with his legs, it is a big problem for defenses, and he causes that mismatch. If Nessie is there, he's not going to hurt the team with his legs, but it's his offense. He's going to be able to manage that, and he's going to be able to get the ball to Austin Brock. So that's where I'm at. I'm picking the Roosters unless Josh Taylor or Nessie play quarterback for the Steelers.
It's a conditional pick. Okay.
Conditional.
That makes sense.
Yeah, right. I'm picking the Roosters in case Brandon Connett come back. You can't do that.
I can and I did.
Yeah. He said, look, I'm waiting until I have all the information before I make my official pick. That makes sense.
That's good, though. You gave us a heads up, so it's all good.
Yeah, we appreciate that. For me, I'm going to go Butchers over the Wolverines, obviously, because, they're better. Then I'm going to go Royals over the Crusaders. And the reason I'm going Royals over the Crusaders is because, the Royals might not win another game, so they got to win this one. So, yeah, I think Alpha would do everything in his power for this team to win. And not to take off any credit, though, I also believe that Tom Sawosty and Theo Landers will have a great game. I don't see anything about the Crusaders' defense that really makes me think they can stop those three. So I think they'll just kind of run through them. Again, it'll still be like 30-20 score just because their defense is just inconsistent. But they'll score enough and they'll do it convincingly to win the game. Now, for the game of the week, I'm not putting any conditions on mine. Even if Josh Taylor is 100% healthy, I'm going with the Helsinki Roosters. And the reason I'm going with the Helsinki Roosters is because I believe that the Kuopio Steelers have lost their mojo. I think they don't know who they are. They've lost their identity. Obviously, the Josh Taylor getting hurt is a huge thing, and everybody's going to say, "Oh, that's the reason they lost to the Crocs." Blah blah blah. But like I said earlier, or in the last episode about that game, they weren't looking good before. In the last 2 weeks, they've relied heavily on Josh Taylor, and when they played the Butchers, it wasn't enough. And when they played the Crocs, it probably was going to be enough to just rely on him. But relying on him so heavily is how he ended up getting hurt. The fact that he had to run and he has to move around like that at the quarterback position put him in a position where injuries happen. If he didn't have to run around so much, if he was able to just catch it, throw it, hand it off to somebody, catch it, throw it, he would have played that full game and they still probably would have won. But the way that they're using him and relying on him is causing the team not to work well. Offensively, Austin Brock is their top target. He's their top skill player. They haven't found a way to get him the ball consistently throughout the season. We've seen him have a couple of breakout games here and there. Every week we still think he's one of the best players. But if you look at his statistics, they've been going down, not up, as the season's been progressing. Because other teams have keyed in on him, obviously, but also the Steelers have went away from him becoming him being their number one target. They're trying to spread the ball around, which is great, but when it's not working, you need to get to that guy, and they haven't decided to do that. They don't know where they want to go with the ball. Matter of fact, they don't even know who they want playing quarterback because they put Noah Choate back there last time. So I think that going into playing against the Roosters, who just came off a bye week, they know who they are. They know what they want to do. They have a ton of players coming back on defense, a whole lot of retirees on the defensive line and stuff. Even if Josh Taylor was there, he was going to have a long day. That's just what it was going to be. But whether he's there or not, the Roosters defense is still going to be good, and their offense is still going to be able to score. And what I saw from the Steelers defense in the last 2 weeks is not a good sign. They've given up enough points that they've lost the last 2 games. We can say we want to about Josh being injured, but they had a 21-point lead. Giving up those 21 points is on the defense, not the offense. And this defense has shown that if they're not in the right situation, they can be had. And it's mostly on the back end. Up front, we've said it before, their defensive line is really good. Carlton Marshall is still fast, quick to the ball, does what he needs to do. But on the back end, they have some issues at the cornerback position, and they can be had. That's where the big plays come from. Is when you go against those guys.
They still were up 28-7 with those same DBs that they got that you're talking about.
Yeah,
so
they
still were going to take care of it. They still were going to win with Josh.
Agreed. I didn't say they weren't. I'm just saying that they would have beat the Crocs.
Now you said they lost their mojo. You said they
I think they have. I think that
they was about to blow them out if he wouldn't have got hurt. They was about to blow them out. So they were
gonna blow them out. If they were gonna blow them out, and we're doing hypothetical. They were gonna blow them out and still give up 28 points on defense. They still were going to give up their points.
Going to go that way. You think if Josh doesn't get hurt, still go
I think Josh hurt or not got nothing to do with their DBs getting roasted.
But I'm saying they didn't get roasted for 3 quarters.
They were going to get roasted either way throughout the game, and that's what happened. Through 4 quarters, they got roasted. It's the totality of the game.
I see what you're saying. I'm saying for the big ball.
That's what I'm saying is they didn't. It's not like the Crocodiles were just bombs over Baghdad. No, they had big plays that ended up getting them scores, which is what would happen if they play a team like the Roosters. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not saying
the Roosters gonna go after those guys. They're gonna make sure of it.
Again, I'm saying I see the faults in that defense, and I feel like that's the mojo part because earlier in the season we're very high on the Kuopio Steelers defense. And I still like a lot of their players when I see them playing, but we see that they can be beat and there's holes in that defense. And if you do it correctly, you can beat them. That's 2 weeks of that defense giving up a lot of points.
And like you said, another reason why is the way they run their defense. Mm-hmm. It's not a lot of teams that do 3-down linemen. and that gives up so much in certain situations. The Crocs scored on it because they brought, I think, a receiver in. They brought a tight end in. They had 2 running backs or 1 running back plus the quarterback. So formation-wise, they beat the Steelers off of formation. You know what I mean?
And also, if you looked at that game, and again, we're still talking about last week's on this show, but in the first half, the Crocodiles gave the Steelers a heavy dose of Christian Powell and Christian R&B there in the run game. And in the second half, they started airing it out. So whether the quarterback, whether Josh was there or not, that was always going to be the game plan because they were going with the same formations and a quick play action and then throwing it deep. Like that was the game plan. And it worked because when the defense decided, okay, we're going to let our corners man up, what happens? They get beat. And I think
it's like they get the good and the bad of having a spectacular offense. The thing about having a spectacular offense is you score a lot of points, you score quick, you get up, but then the other team is forced to throw the ball, in which your weakest part of your team is probably your DBs. Like when it comes down to it, like a lot of the touchdowns that's given up against Scorpio is because of the DBs. So, and that's just, it sucks because you probably wouldn't get put into these situations if your offense didn't score the way it scored. It sounds bad, but it hurts them. It hurts them when they get up because now teams have to exploit that way more than they normally would in a closer game. So,
Chris, I'm gonna let you jump in here. I know you got something to say. Go ahead. Tell me what's on your mind.
The only thing I was going to say is that I know you said the defense were bad, and that's part of the reason why they lost to the Crocodiles.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it's not playing well in the back. It's not as good as we thought it was earlier, maybe in the season. That makes sense. But
what doesn't help them when you lose your starting quarterback, if your offense keep going 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out.
Again, I understand what you're saying about like the Josh Taylor-ness of it, but let's not act like they beat the Butchers the week before. Like this is what I'm saying. Like it becomes that's why I said mojo is because no matter how it happened, 2 weeks of losing is 2 weeks of losing.
Yeah.
And now you're going against a team coming off a bye and a win. I think the Roosters won before they went on their bye. I mean, most likely. But you're playing it. It doesn't matter how you lost those 2 games. You're coming off 2 losses. There's a sense of we gotta win. And now we're gonna start pressing. And me and Q have said this plenty of times. Have you ever seen what Finnish players do under pressure? Yeah, they fold like lawn chairs. Yeah. So that's where
Lambro last year.
Yeah, that's where I feel like the Steelers are right now. I feel like
gut check point. It's gut check point. This is the part of football that I say like everybody loves to be a football player until you actually have to be a football player.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this is that moment. You have to now say, hey, we lost by a field goal, we lost to the Butchers, who, like you said, they're trying to figure out who they are. I think they know who they are.
I think they know who they want to be.
Yeah, they know. Like it's like they know what they want to be. It's just, man, all of this stuff keeps preventing us from getting there. So part of being a good team is learning how to overcome the things that you've been going through. The offense ain't been hitting the way they want to hit. Yes, you get a running back. Now it looks like it's a different offense because now we have a running game. Before he gets hurt, you're up 28-7. No matter what happens in this game, you're up 28-7. By my standards, we've been playing a pretty decent game offensively if we up 28-7. It might not have been pretty, but it's been working. So this is where you want to be on the team that is number 2, 3 in the league. That's where you want to be. 28-7, third quarter, you can't get put in a better situation. What they got to learn is every football game is not going to go the way that the last 5 did or the last 4. Yes, you might go 6-0 and you might lose 3 in a row. Look at the Butchers last year. We didn't. Nobody expected the Butchers to go on the run that they went last year, and that's just part of football. That's part of being a football player. You're gonna go through adversity. You're gonna lose. There's gonna be times where you doubt yourself, where you doubt your team. But you have to play through that. You have to figure out a way to say, you know what? I'm gonna make sure I do my part better than I've been doing. I'm going to make sure I'm where I'm supposed to be. So I'm not the reason that we're not winning the next game. If you go on the film and you're a DB or you're a corner and you say, hey, I know Lucas Earl is fast as hell. So what am I going to do different the next time I play against him? Instead of being arrogant and confident and standing 5 yards away from him, I'm going to stand back 7 to 9 yards. If you beat me, you're going to have to beat me another way. You know what I'm saying? This is part of being a football. It's self-accountability. It's understanding I'm not as strong or fast as him. So I got to find another way to keep up with him. I got to find another way to make plays in this game. That's simply what the Steelers have to do as a team. You have to figure out a way.
I said it better than myself. Absolutely.
I think it needs to be said now before I say it, before we get out of here, that let's try to really remember who the Steelers are, because I feel like we crowned them too early, and that's on us, being part of the media and stuff.
We didn't crown them.
Just listen to me real quick. We talk about like how they score so many points, blah blah blah. First 2 games, they scored 62 points against Crusaders and then 46 points against the Wolverines. Cool. That's 2 weeks of high scoring against 2 bad teams. Ask me what's the highest amount of points they've scored since week 2 of the season.
24?
28.
28? Yeah.
28. So they're not this like 5 and 6 touchdown team that we like keep talking about, like, oh, they're going to put up so many points that it doesn't matter. I honestly feel like they've been playing decent defense. And if you look at what they've done, they've held opponents to 7, 10, 14, 13, and then they gave up 24 to the Butchers, now 31 to the Crocs. You can say what you want to about why they gave up 31 to the Crocs. We're going in the wrong direction. Like earlier in the season, no matter how many points they're scoring offensively, if they're not scoring more than 40 points, they're still close enough that the other team can play. But that defense had been locking things down, or I guess the weaknesses hadn't been seen so early in the season. But now we're playing these teams that second time around, we're seeing their weaknesses kind of drawn out defensively. And I feel like that's going to be something down the line that's going to get them in trouble, especially since they're going to play the Roosters. Then they have, the Royals, and then Wolverines Crusaders. They're going to finish the season without testing that defense, which is going to get us into the whole, their defense is all fixed. I'm saying this before it happens, before I forget. Because at the end of the season, we're going to be like, oh, man, they're the best team coming into the end of the season because they just won 3 games, even though one of them was the Crusaders and one of them was the Wolverines. And they shut them out or they kept them to a low pound. Like, their defense did all this. But the games we need to really be looking at is when they played the Butchers, they won 21-7. And that was the first time we were like, oh, man, their offense didn't look that good. It didn't look that good. We said that. And then after they played the Butchers, they played against the Crocs, and we said they won, but it still didn't look that great. But their defense was so good it didn't matter. And then they played against the Roosters, and we had a similar feeling. They played good, but their defense was good. And the Royals, it's the Royals. But again, when it came back again, time to play a good team like the Butchers, and their offense didn't play good, and then the Butchers figured out how to score against that team. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, in both those games with the Butchers, they had pick sixes, right? So other teams are figuring out how to beat this team. And when you have 2 games in a row, it's a streak now. I feel like that's why they've lost their mojo. Like, I'm still going back to my original point.
That's a good, like the way you're putting it, I understand why. I don't agree with them losing the mojo part. I just think that it's just football. Like that's how you mentally have to look at it. It's just football. Like, yes, in the perfect world, everybody gets better week to week. In a perfect season, that you're gonna win 7 in a row, 8 in a row, 9 in a row. But then like you have these years where you start off hot. You really do start off hot, and it's great. And then you take 2 L's, and then you lose your quarterback. So now you shouldn't be thinking about how the rest of the season is going to go. Like, you literally can't think that far. You have to say, all right, we got the Roosters next. Like you don't get to cry, you don't get to like moan and Josh, you can't cry. You know Josh is hurt. The season is over. Oh my God, what are we gonna do? Josh is hurt. You can't do that. Like you're a football player, you can't do that. Like as much as I felt like my quarterback was good in college, but I wasn't worried until my nose tackle was hurt for the season. I care about him being more healthy than I do my quarterback because he was more important than me. You know what I'm saying? It just depends on how you see it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you feel like your offense wins the games, then yes, you'll look at it like that. But if you feel like your defense wins the game, you'll look at it that way. So Josh Taylor and the Steelers right now, like I said before, they are going through something that a lot of other teams have been through. The Crocs, we've seen them streak it out. We've seen them streak it out, and then let us down. So it's like
that team alone, man.
Yeah,
Leave them alone.
I'm saying in football,
poor Crocodiles.
This is what happens in football. The healthiest team wins most of the time. The healthiest one wins. Other than that, this is football. This is the football season we wanted right here. I wanted to know in them 4 teams that we know of, who's the best. And right now, from week to week, it's hard to tell which one is the top dog. And this is where I wanted to be in the season. This is exactly where I want to be.
I'm gonna ask you right now. Who do you think is the best right now? Like if we had a power rankings.
Power rankings right now?
Like who would you put 1, 2, 3?
1, 2, 3.
I guess 4, because I mean we might as well do 4.
1, 2, 3. That's crucial. As it stands right now, not potential Josh playing, none of that stuff right now.
Yeah, just today.
If we go into the playoffs right now, the number one team for me, right now, the Butchers. Number one to me. Playoffs starting right now, the Butchers.
Okay, so who's 2?
Roosters.
And then who's 3?
Crocs.
So okay. And so 4 would have to be Steelers.
Yeah. With Josh out, yeah.
Okay. And Chris, how would you do it?
I think I'd go Roosters 1. I would go Crocs 2, Steelers 3, Butchers 4.
Yeah, he tried the Butchers. Butchers, y'all hear that, Porbu? Y'all hear this, man?
I would go the same as Chris.
I think the Steelers' defense are good enough to win you games.
I agree.
Like front 7.
I agree. I want to use one of Coach Q's terms. It's just football. Yeah, the Butchers beat the Steelers, but that's the only team they beat. Like, it's the only top team they beat. And they did it once. Any given Sunday, right? Like, to me, that doesn't make them a number 1 or number 2 team. That makes them, they have a chance. I'd have to see more consistency from them against the top teams, personally. That's just me. That's why they wouldn't go any higher than 4. But the Crocodiles have been consistent all season. Like, they can hang with anybody. Might not be able to beat everybody, but they can hang with everybody. And then I think the Roosters look like the best team right now. Like, going into week 10, the Roosters look like the best team.
The Roosters look like the top 2 teams. I agree with that. The reason I gave the Butchers the number 1 thing, because defensively, I think if it came down to it, defensively, I trust their defense more than I do the Roosters right now. And right now,
I can give you that.
I trust their defense more.
They look like they might be the best defense right now.
Hey there, fans of American football in Finland. Want to show some love and support to your favorite podcast? For just €3, you can buy us a cup of coffee and help keep our podcast running strong. But why stop at 1 cup? Why not support each host with a cup? Visit buymeacoffee.com and show your support today. Cheers to keeping the conversation going.
All right, that's it for this episode of American Football in Finland. Any last words before we get out of here, fellas?
2 long episodes, man. It's
2 long ones.
2 big ones.
Look at my roof. These games got me stressed out. We need to know who the top dog is, baby. We're trying to see who the top dog is. That's all.
Yeah, we hit some topics, that's for sure.
I got one thing. It'll take me 2 seconds.
Uh-oh.
What is he?
He pulling something out of there. What is he pulling out of there?
Probably a
shirt from somebody.
I think it's a
Hey.
picture.
Referees
picture
this
of-
week. Referees this week. Remember, flags. These are what you throw. Yeah.
They're not yours. They're supposed
I thought you would have like a photo, a framed photo of him and Kevin Adams or something. The momentum thing. But yeah, good luck to all the teams this weekend, and we'll see you here next week right here on the AFF podcast. Make sure to subscribe, follow, like, and share on all social channels at American Football in Finland. And until next time, never forget
T.
I
F.
we gone.
We
We
go.
go.
Up out of here. Flags and everything.
Flag, man. Flag, man.